Good morning dear students. Today we are going to discuss about antigens. Antigens are also known as immunogens. Why we call these antigens as immunogens? Why? Because these antigens are known to cause or known to produce immunoglobulins. These immunoglobulins or antibodies are produced because of the antigens. These antigens have the capacity to produce antibodies. So these antigens are called as immunogenerators or antibody generators. Okay. So what is meant by antigens? Antigens are non-self foreign substances. Antigens are non-self foreign substances like proteins, polysaccharides, glycolipids, which are coming from the outside, means which comes from the other organisms or the outside environment into the organism. So what is the function of antigens? Antigens are known to cause immune responses in the body. Antigens will be causing immune responses by reacting with the antibodies, and these antigens will react with the antibodies and causes immune responses. What is the properties of antigens? Antigens have mostly two properties. One is antigenicity and the second one is immunogenicity. What is meant by antigenicity? Antigenicity means it has the capacity to bind with the antibodies. Immunogenicity means it has the capacity to cause immune responses. So these are the properties of antigens. Coming to the structure of these antigens, this is large in size and the molecular weight of antigens is around 10,000 daltons. Antigens will be having molecular weight of about 10,000 daltons, and it has a high molecular weight because it has two parts in it. One is epitope and the other one is carrier of the epitope. This epitope is the portion where antibody comes and bind to it. And the remaining part we call it as carrier of the epitope. This helps in the carrying the epitope. Without this carrier, there is no function of this epitope. Epitope will be helpful in the property of antigenicity, and carrier will be helpful in the property of immunogenicity. Means epitope will be helpful in attaching the antigen to the antibody. Epitope, what is the function of the epitope? It attaches the antigen to the antibody. What is the function of this carrier of the epitope? It will be helpful in producing immune responses. It will show immune responses. Without this carrier, this antigen cannot show immune response. Epitope plus carrier of the epitope together we'll call it as complete antigen. Epitope plus carrier of epitope is together called as complete antigen. Okay, so coming to the epitope in detail, it is a small area of antigen. Here you can see it takes only small part of the antigen, and it is made up of amino acids. About 6 to 10 residues of amino acids are present in that epitope place, or it also has the sugars like hexosugars or hydrocarbons, etc. This epitope will form a non-covalent bond with the antibody. This antibody will be forming a non-covalent bond with the antigen. Okay. So this is a epitope and this is a antibody. Okay. So this will be forming a non-covalent bond, which we also call it as an affinity. Okay. So epitope is specific for antibodies, means a particular antigen binds with a particular antibody. It looks like a lock and key fit model. Here you can see it is like a lock and key fit model. Okay, so the antigen and antibody binds with each other in a lock and key fit model. Okay, so coming to some terms involved in this antigen, that is affinity. What is meant by affinity? The epitope and monovalent antibodies forms a bond between them. This affinity means the bond formed between a single epitope and a monovalent antibody. Means this is an antibody, it has only capacity to bind with the single antigen. Okay, so this we call it as a monovalent antibody, and the epitope means a single binding structure of antigen. Okay, this is an antibody and this is an antigen. So affinity means the bond between antigen, epitope of an antigen, and a monovalent antibody. So here it cannot bind to any other antigen. Okay, so coming to the avidity. Avidity is a bond between or the complete interaction between multivalent antigens and polyvalent antibodies. Here in this avidity, if you see, the antibody have the capacity to bind with the different types of, two or more antigens. Antibody polyvalent means this has the capacity to bind with the many antigens. Multivalent antigen means so many antigens antigen can combine with any type of antibody. So affinity and avidity means the interaction or the bond between antigens and antibodies. Coming to the valency of the antigen. Valency means the capacity of the antigen to bind with the antibody. So depending upon the valency of the antigen, antigens are divided into monovalent, multivalent and heterophiles. So valency means the number of antigen determining sites present on the antigen, means number of epitopes. The epitopes of the antigen means there are two or more number of epitopes present on a single antigen. So antigen may have two or more epitopes. This is one epitope and this is one epitope and this was one epitope. So more than two epitopes are present on the antigen. Okay, so if one epitope is present in the antigen, epitope is a antigen determining site, means where antibody come and binds to this site. So if one epitope is present here, if one epitope is present to bind with the antigen, we call that, as it is having a single valency, we call that as a monovalent antigen. What is meant by multivalent antigen? It has so many antibody binding sites. So it has more valency. So we call that as multivalent antigens. What is meant by heterophiles? Heterophiles are the antigens where different types of antigens comes and binds to the antibody. Means human blood group B antigen and Frostman antigen are the examples for this heterophiles. These are also called as heterogenic antigens, heterotrophic antigens, or heterophiles. Next we'll move to the heptins. Heptins are also called as incomplete antigens. Heptins are also called as incomplete antigens. These are small in size and has low molecular weight. The heptins will be having only antigenic properties but not immunogenic properties. Why? Because it has only the part where epitope is present and there is no question of the carrier. So only carrier is absent, only epitope is present. So that it shows only the antigenicity but not immunogenicity. It is antigenic in nature but not immunogenic in nature. If the carrier is present, it will be showing some immune response when it is bound to the antibody. But here the carrier is absent, so it shows only the antigenic nature. It becomes immunogenic when it combines with the carrier. If it combines with the carrier, it also shows immunogenicity. Means it also shows immune responses. Okay. Example for this is inorganic chemicals like nickel, organic reagents like penicillin and dinitrophenol, and in some cases the antigens acts as a heptanes in one organism. It acts as heptanes in some organisms, and the same antigen acts as a complete antigen in some organisms. For example, means the same antigen acts like both heptanes and complete antigen. In some organisms it looks like a heptane, and in some organisms it looks like a complete antigen. Means heptanes means incomplete antigen. For example, pneumococcal polysaccharide is an antigen. This is a antigen which acts as a heptane in rabbits, and complete antigen in mouse. So these are the examples of heptanes. Coming to the antigen is either of low molecular weight or high molecular weight. If it is having a low molecular weight, we call that as a less immunogenic. It will be causing less immune response. If it is having a high molecular weight, it will be showing more immune response. When it is having a low molecular weight and it is showing less immune response, it is less immunogenic. Okay, example for this is lipid and nucleic acid. Example for high molecular weight antigens which are causing more immunogenicity are proteins and polysaccharides. These are high molecular weight compounds. Why? Because these have a complex structure when compared to the lipids and nucleic acids. If we compare both proteins and polysaccharides, in these two, proteins are more immunogenic. Proteins are more immunogenic than polysaccharides. Why? Because it has an amino acid called tyrosine. It has an amino acid called tyrosine which makes the proteins more immunogenic than all the other compounds. There are some substances which are added to increase the immunogenicity. Such substances we call it as adjuvants. Example, alum. Classification of antigens. Antigens are classified into natural antigens and artificial antigens. Natural antigens are available by natural antigen and artificial antigen. Natural antigens will be coming from biological sources like microorganisms, RBCs, etc. Means naturally they affect the organism. Means these antigens are not developed or synthesized artificially. It is developed naturally. These are the examples for the natural antigens like microorganisms, RBCs, etc. Whereas artificial antigens are killed or attenuated microorganisms. Example, vaccines. Vaccines are made by killing or attenuating the microorganisms. So this artificial antigens depends on T cells. This activity of this artificial antigens depends on T cells. Example for this artificial antigens are polio vaccine. This artificial antigens may be a thymus dependent or thymus independent. Means these artificial antigens, most of the artificial antigens will be depending on T cells. So such type of antigens we call it as thymus dependent antigens, and few of them are independent of these T cells. So that will not depend on T cells, a few of them. So such type of artificial antigens we call it as thymus independent antigens. So this is about antigens.